Welcome to Beyond Referrals, the podcast exploring how trust, growth, and client relationships in financial services are evolving in the digital and AI age. I'm your host, Emily Armstrong. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to Beyond Referrals. This is episode 2, where we are going to explore the theme of the widening competitive gap. Now, if you have followed my blog with WonderLab, you know this is something I have talked about, and today we're going to dive all in. We're going to talk about what is the widening competitive gap, who does this apply to, and what can you do today to start moving yourself and your firm on the right side of the widening competitive gap. Shall we get into it? Let's go. So I have a thesis. Over the next 3 years specifically, so it's 2026 right now at the time of this recording, from now until 2029, financial advising and wealth management industry is going to be split into 2 groups of people. The first group will be the advisors who choose now to adapt to things like AI, specialization, moving away from a generalist approach, and digital visibility specifically, those 3 things. That group of people who do that today will be accelerating ahead. And then there's group number 2, the advisors and firms who do not adapt. They stay a generalist, they stay in the reliance of legacy referral growth, and they ignore or do not prioritize their digital presence. And this group of people will slowly become invisible. It sounds intense, but that's where we're heading. And the gap between these 2 groups will widen to the point where adaptation is no longer optional or a way to be competitive. It is going to be a matter of survival and relevance. So let's talk about the old belief. For decades, advisors believed that if I do really good work and I take care of my clients and I ask for referrals and I put their best interests in mind, the referrals will come, the business will come. You should be doing good work and all of those things, but your business will not grow by doing good work alone. The saying of the best marketing is client experience is no longer relevant. This worked, as we discussed in the last episode, when growth was relationship-driven, local, and reputation-based. And we didn't have all the options that we have today, and we didn't have the landscape that we had today. So you didn't need a niche. You didn't need digital visibility. You didn't need to leverage technology. Your book of business was enough. This belief worked in the pre-AI, pre-digital discovery, pre-digital first native millennials and Gen Z world. Now let's talk about what changed. As we discussed, the 3 major forces collided all at the same time. First being AI. AI has democratized financial knowledge and made things like financial advice almost ubiquitous. So the fact that we have access to a financial advisor who knows everything about us can give us personalized advice, can give us guidance, can help us choose our investment portfolio, can help us run models. The fact that that's available at all times, whenever we want, however we want, is insane. Digital discovery replaced local reputation as well. So the referral or the, hey, you need to work with my guy or my gal, they're great. That is no longer enough to get someone to meet with you. I like to say this. Your work does not speak for itself. You speak for yourself. So even if you get a strong referral, they're still going to look you up. And if what they see does not create curiosity, build trust, and show your specialization and your expertise, within 5 seconds, you have a very slim chance of having that person meet with you. And also the next generation is just different. They want different things. They evaluate advisors differently. And we need to adapt to serve them because with the transfer and the changing of wealth to more digital first groups of people, it's really naive at best and foolish at worst to think that just because you worked with their parents or their grandparents, that you are going to retain that business and that relationship. The next generation is different. So we need to play a different game. Advice is no longer scarce and it no longer comes from you as the advisor alone. Advice is everywhere. And it's not bad advice. Trust signals are digital and need to be built first. Younger clients vet advisors online before they ever take a meeting. And so if when they search you, there's nothing or there's the same message that they've seen, you're going to lose them. I want to explore this point of view a little bit more. And then we're going to go to a little story time, which is my favorite. So over the next few years, like I said, we're going to see these two categories. And what's so exciting and interesting to me is it doesn't really matter how long you've been in business. No one is excused from this shift happening. You could be a brand new advisor, a year two advisor. You could be 20 years in with the established firm and the bells and whistles and all the credibility in the world. But you are not excused from what's happening in the industry with the competitive gap widening. So I think that's really exciting for all advisors. And it could be exciting or not exciting, depending on what side you are on. So, like I said, it's not based on intelligence, expertise, years of experience. Those things will not save you today or in the world to come. It is based on your ability to adapt and lean into doing things a new and different way. So, advisors who don't choose to get uncomfortable, who don't choose to adapt, who don't choose to prioritize their niche, their digitization and technology and speaking to the digital first clients of today, it doesn't matter how experienced they are, they're going to lose. And so this is already happening. The specialized advisor is winning and they're rising today. So advisors, I see a lot of really exciting niches. I work with clients who are in the process of defining their niche, and there's so many exciting things to build your business off of and very exciting and cool opportunities for you to play in. You can be anything you want. It's so exciting. But when you choose a specialization, when you choose a niche, your business changes automatically. You start to see a deeper level of trust and engagement happening, and you get more success within that niche. You can go deeper. And it's kind of counterintuitive because you think that if you niche, you exclude opportunities, but you actually become more successful because you exclude opportunities. So digital discovery is the first meeting. I think this is changing, but what I have seen, and we still have a long ways to go, firms and advisors are really, really, really underestimating the importance and the power of their digital presence. They might think that if they have a website, that's good enough. If they have a LinkedIn, that's good enough. They might think, okay, that's presence. I don't have time to update my website or my LinkedIn because I'm so busy with prospecting and I'm busy getting clients. But what they don't realize is that the longer they ignore that digital presence, they're ignoring what is going to win them business today. And you can no longer put these things on the back burner. And I find that the reason this happens is twofold. First is because they are busy trying to get clients and they don't think that digital presence and marketing is the same as new client acquisition. They've seen these things as separate and they've seen marketing as a not important, I don't get ROI from this, so I'm not going to waste my time or energy on it. We're going to get into that more in different episodes of the show, but that could not be farther from the truth. So I just want to wrap that part up and say your digital presence cannot be underestimated. And it can't really be outsourced either. If you want it to do the work for you, there's a very strategic way and an exciting way that you can start doing that. We'll talk more about it. But the reality is that that's how people discover you today. And what I like to say is that if you walked into a room with a room full of your ideal prospects and your ideal buyers, high quality people, exactly who you want to do business with, exactly who you want to serve, and you walk into a room and you were given a microphone and you said nothing, you just stood there. That is the equivalent of a generic or blank digital presence. Now, let's put this on the flip side. You niche, you show that digitally, you start publishing content that is relevant to them, you speak to them, you show your human side. That is like walking into the room with your ideal buyers with the microphone and giving them value, giving them relevance, showing them that you are the credible guide that they need. They're going to meet with you. They're going to book their calendar. They're going to book meetings on your calendar. So that is the equivalent of what's happening now with a digital presence and why it's so important. And let's dive into the topic of AI a little bit more specifically with the widening competitive gap concept. This is kind of an uncomfortable one. It hits home. AI can already help people model retirement scenarios, understand tax strategies, evaluate financial decisions, build personalized portfolios, give them really good advice. AI can freaking pass the CFA. And it's only going to get better. We are only at the beginning of this. And so this means that the advisor's value can no longer be just information. It has to be interpretation, judgment, context, behavioral coaching, strategic thinking, and a deep specialization within a niche and the human side of the relationship. Advisors who position themselves as the human intelligence amplified by AI will win. But if you are only trying to go to market with your service or your advice or your planning, AI is already doing that just as good and will be doing that better than you very soon. So let's do a little bit of story time. Think of 2 advisors right now. So let's do advisor 1. They wake up and it's 2029. So 3 years have passed. They didn't change really how they built their business or how they acquired clients. They just kept doing what had always worked for them and what they had always been taught. Do really good work. Reach out to your clients every year for reviews. Go to networking events. Ask for referrals. Position yourself in physical places where you can meet people and bring them into your business. Follow up with those referrals that you're getting. Ask your clients always for introductions and do that at a high volume so that you can succeed, because this is a numbers game. And over time, it didn't happen overnight, but your clients became less responsive to you. They stopped taking your requests for annual reviews. It became increasingly harder to reach the introductions they gave you. And the numbers needed to get bigger for you to sustain the same level of business, but you already felt maxed out before. You already felt like, how do I do this at a higher level? And you woke up and you just feel even more frustrated than you feel today. And then fast forward, you're trying to build trust with the next generation, with their kids, and you are struggling to do so. You struggle to retain now the children of your clients because you didn't show them your differentiation. You didn't speak to them in the language that they speak, which is digital first. And so then, the relationship that their parents had does not transfer. Maybe the assets do for a little while, but the relationship does not. So you're feeling more frustrated. Business is harder. You're not winning. And you feel so behind. And the thought of adapting now feels even more overwhelming than it does right now. That's scenario 1. Let's talk about advisor 2, the advisor who chose to lean in today and adapt today. So it's 2029. They wake up. Well, let's fast forward. Let's back up a bit. This advisor in 2026 saw these changes coming and they said, you know what? I'm going to try something different. I'm going to learn a new skill. And just like the first time they picked up the golf club and hit the golf ball, it felt awkward and uncomfortable. And that's exactly how they felt when they did things like content marketing, showing up digitally, and niching. But slowly over time, they became better. It became easier. It became fun. And it actually won them clients. They landed opportunities that they wouldn't have had before, such as speaking events. They work with clients who are raving fans who refer them because they have received so much value from them. This advisor gets meetings booked on their calendar without even reaching out to people because they're getting inbound leads. This advisor is sharp. They have spent the last 3 years refining their craft, learning in public, and teaching as a new way of selling. They are sharp. They are smart. They know exactly who they are, where they're going. They have no problem attracting clients. In fact, they can say no to clients because they're so specialized in their niche and what they're doing, and business is not scarce for them. They use AI to be more human. They use AI to have a leaner team of specialists, and they don't need to hire like crazy. They are comfortable with where they're at. And they're so glad that they decided to get uncomfortable 3 years ago, because if they didn't, they would be nowhere where they are today. And they see the other advisors struggling and they feel sorry for them. That is where we're going, my friends. So what does this all mean? We've covered a few key sections here. The major areas that are going to create this widening competitive gap is AI, specialization through niching, digital authority, and presence. And so what can you do today to start getting on the right side of the widening competitive gap and not be the first advisor that we talked about? Well, it's simple. You can start showing up. You can start speaking to one specific person with one specific problem and start becoming a beginner again and publishing content to that person. I honestly think that's the first step with digital presence is just show up, start teaching. You're going to learn as you go, and you're going to see that quote investment in marketing is actually going to help you win business and get more prospects. The other thing, start learning AI, play with it, use it for things in your practice compliantly, but start playing, get familiar, start talking to it. Ask AI how it can help you. Ask AI what you should be thinking about with your niche. Start playing and experimenting. And then choose one channel. So depending on who your niche is, where they are, choose one channel and show up there. Show your face. Get on video. Give them something valuable. If you're having the same conversation with every single client that you meet, that's a theme. Start thinking about how can I use my meetings and what I'm learning as something that I can use to show value and create trust with my audience. And how can I show up consistently on one channel? And it's really not that hard. It doesn't take that much time, but you have to start somewhere. And so let's close this out for today. The next 3 years are really, really, really important. And what you do today will set you up for either success or failure. Honestly, I think this is not going to happen overnight, but it's going to happen right before our eyes every single day, every single month, and for sure every year. The advisors who adapt today and choose to get uncomfortable now will be light years ahead of those who wait. Not because they're smarter, not because they have more experience, not because they're better at their jobs or they learned more about financial planning or they have a CFP or not, but because they made one simple decision to evolve. So if you liked this episode or if something struck you, I want you to email us or leave a comment about any takeaways that you have. I also want you to share this episode with someone who you think needs to hear it. If you've had a similar conversation with a leader or a fellow advisor, or even a client, share this episode. And again, make sure you follow and subscribe to the show Beyond Referrals, where we're going to be having this conversation, building off of it and talking about ways to specifically address those gaps of digital credibility, AI, and niche specialization. Thank you so much for listening to this. I'm Emily Armstrong, and this is Beyond Referrals. Hey, thanks so much for listening to the show. If this conversation resonated with you or you learned something new, make sure you follow the podcast so you don't miss out on future episodes. And do me a favor, like and subscribe and share this episode with a friend. Comment on anything that you want to see or hear more of in the future as well. You can also stay connected by subscribing to the Wonder Weekly newsletter and connect with me, Emily, on LinkedIn at Emily Armstrong or Instagram, Emily Armstrong 2.0 for more insights on building modern client service firms. Until next time, keep on adapting, modernizing, and growing beyond referrals.